Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Anna Azalian. A protest broke out today on the Ohio University campus after a controversial gun rights advocate made an appearance at Baker Center. Delaney Ruth has more on the chaos that ensued.
That's right, Anna. Just a little bit ago, social media personality Caitlin Bennett, known for her controversial conservative views, tweeted about her less than welcoming visit to Athens. She tweeted a video of someone from the crowd throwing a can of liquid at her while she was inside her car and said, quote, "This is what happens when a Trump supporter goes to a college campus. Leftists at OU started a riot when at Joel Patrick 1776 and I showed up, and the OU police let it happen. I think at the real Donald Trump should strip funding from universities like this that harbor terrorists." Bennett gained notoriety in 2018 after posting graduation pictures that showed her carrying an AR-15 around the Kent State campus to show her support for Open Cary. She now hosts an online show for the libertarian media outlet Liberty Hangout, where she debates hot-button issues with people on the streets. Students surrounded Bennett at Baker while she attempted to shoot a segment for her show and chatted for her to leave. OU student Molly Ganaway says she confronted Bennett during the protest about her pro-gun stance.
She stopped in front of me and I was like, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity. So I looked at her and I'm like, sister, like, God loves you so much, Jesus cares about you so much. He said that whoever lives by the sword will die by the sword.
The crowd followed Bennett throughout campus for another 40 minutes before she left campus. Back to you, Anna.
OU spokeswoman Carly Leatherwood says, quote, Ohio University is committed to fostering an atmosphere that allows the free and peaceful exchange of diverse thoughts and ideas. The university urges its community to respect the rights guaranteed to all under the state and federal constitutions. And Jane Fonda will be making her way to Ohio to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Kent State shootings. The actress and activist will highlight events the university has planned to explore how May 4th, 1970 still has an impact on our world today. Fonda plans to reflect on her life as an activist during her speech on May 3rd. The Kent State shootings occurred when students protesting the Vietnam War on campus were fired upon by the Ohio National Guard. 4 students were killed and 9 were injured. The first presidential campaign office in Athens is now open. Michael Bloomberg's office opened Saturday. Bloomberg is a latecomer to the campaign, and the opening of the office was one way to introduce himself to the area. But there were some mixed feelings about whether Bloomberg is even the right choice for president. Some joined the celebration, others hope to get more information ahead of Ohio's March primary. Bruce Block says he's leaning towards Bloomberg after Biden's poor performance in the first 2 primaries.
I think that he appeals to the middle class, even though he may be a millionaire.
Athens County's prosecutor, the mayor of Chauncey, and Maya Lin, the designer of the Vietnam War Memorial, also spoke in support of Bloomberg's candidacy.
Mike is a straight talker, and he's a doer.
Many came to this campaign office opening to celebrate or to find out more about Bloomberg, but others came here to protest. The protesters say Bloomberg is no better than Trump. Some of their signs showed Bloomberg quotes of things he said to women. Others criticized his policies in New York. One protester asked, "Where's the democracy if it becomes a race between Bloomberg and Trump?"
I don't understand how Bloomberg can represent me. I'm the son of a high school dropout mechanic at stay up in Lubbock. You know, we live on the poverty line.
Other protesters accused Bloomberg of trying to buy their vote and criticized Bloomberg's stop and frisk policy during his time as mayor of New York City. Many of the other Democratic presidential candidates are holding events in Athens this week. Bloomberg, though, will still have the only campaign office in Athens. Electric scooters are coming to Athens. An e-scooter company is holding a launch event tomorrow at Howard Park. The event starts at noon, and company representatives will be at the event to give safety tips and answer questions. Participants will also get a free helmet while supplies last. The Ohio State Fire Marshal is now investigating a fire at a local restaurant. The Wild Horse Cafe in Meigs County caught on fire early yesterday morning. WSAZ reports several area fire departments responded. Pomeroy's fire chief says he believes the fire started in the kitchen. No one is believed to have been in the building at the time.
Honestly, I just worried about my staff, not having anywhere to go, and we have a new owner, so my heart's
you know, out for him. Sad situation, a lot to take in. So.
The Wild Horse Cafe opened in 2003. A post on their Facebook page says that they, quote, will be back even stronger than before.
A beautiful spring-like day as you are out and about today. We saw the sunshine and those warmer temperatures, and those warm temperatures are going to stick around tonight. 43 will be the low. Rain will move in after midnight and will be breezy as an area of low pressure is making its way toward the area. Make sure you grab your umbrellas and your jackets tonight. Winds will be out of the south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour across the area. Temperatures generally in the lower and middle 40s, 40 in Columbus, 40 in Newark, 43 in Athens, 45 in Ripley, and 46 the warm spot down in Ironton. Rain will move in throughout the area from west to east as we go throughout the night. That will be mainly after midnight here in the WOUB viewing area. Highlights over the next couple of days. Rain returns tomorrow. As I said earlier, we have a much cooler end to this week, but we will warm you back up for next week. How warm can we get? We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in the next couple of minutes. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Nicholas. The Ohio Supreme Court is assembling a task force to help combat wrongful convictions. The Chief Justice said the committee will look into how Ohio and other states review cases after convictions. The court also hopes the task force will review the strengths of convictions. The Chief Justice expects to appoint members soon. She says she expects a report by the end of the year that includes recommendations for updates to the laws. And small businesses hope to get some help from the state with new legislation that would offer state-run paid family leave. The proposed bill would make available 12 weeks of paid leave for a newborn, adoption, or to care for a loved one. But the bill faces an uphill battle because there are no Republicans in the House supporting it yet. And John Glenn's family is celebrating a milestone today. It's the late astronaut's wife's 100th birthday. A spokesman says she's doing well and her family is appreciative of the public's affection towards her. Annie Glenn was an advocate and educator in communication disorders. She has rarely appeared in public since her husband's death. And Elon Musk wants to bring broadband internet to the whole world. The first step of that process started today. Plus, hundreds of Americans are returning to the country after being quarantined on a cruise ship exposed to the coronavirus. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
On expedition.
I've come to Bhutan. You just have no idea what's going to be around the next corner. To kayak a river that's never been paddled before.
It's a deep gorge. We don't know what's in there.
There's no doubt that this one is the one that scares me the most. Oh, I'm in big trouble. We've paddled into paradise. No one else will ever get to do that for the first time. There are still wild, exciting places out there left to explore.
We believe in dinosaurs. We believe dinosaurs and man lived at the same time. This is a fossil created during Noah's flood.
The whole point of this is to teach people that these biblical events were real history that actually happened.
A life-size Noah's Ark in Kentucky.
We want 7 billion people to come here.
Creationists have been pretty vocal. They're going to build new museums, and they're really going to try hard to leverage everything they can.
We believe in dinosaurs. We badger people, ferret out the enemy, weasel out of things. Members of the weasel family are often portrayed as villains. But do they deserve this reputation? Now, with groundbreaking science.
It's as though you have an animal in liquid form.
And by following the wild stoat family, we'll step into the world of weasels.
Cats.
Cats lead fantastic double lives. They disappear for hours, and we don't know where they go.
How did they go from wild animal to furry friend?
We can use the mitochondrial clock to figure out their age in evolutionary time.
And can neuroscience explain why they're so irresistible?
These sounds are plugging straight into our emotions.
Cattails on Nova.
Someone else is speaking out about Roger Stone. An associate of Stone, Randy Credico, defended the Justice Department prosecutors who resigned from Stone's case last week. They resigned after top DOJ officials retracted the prosecutor's sentencing recommendation. Prosecutors originally recommended President Trump's former advisor serve 7 to 9 years in prison. Credico shared his opinion in an interview with CNN's Kate Baldwin.
The president gave the prosecutors a bum rap, and Barr gave them the bum's rush. And I thought that was an outrage, because I know these prosecutors. I've been around them maybe 100 hours over the last year. And they're good guys, they're decent guys, they're hardworking guys, they're civil servants.
Of the prosecutors in the case, Credico told Baldwin that in his experience, he found them to be professional, moral, ethical, and nonpartisan. Wi-Fi that's out of this world, literally. And Elon Musk is hoping figuratively too. His spacecraft company SpaceX has been launching internet satellites that are all connected, called Starlink. The 5th launch was this morning in Florida. With this launch, 300 satellites have been sent up so far, but the plan is to get thousands up there in low Earth orbit. The goal of Starlink is to offer affordable internet service to parts of the U.S. and Canada by the middle of this year, and eventually beam cheap, high-speed broadband around the world, including rural areas that don't have internet access right now. And hundreds of Americans that were evacuated from the Diamond Princess cruise ship docked in Japan have returned to the States. 14 of them have tested positive for the novel coronavirus. Camila Bernal has the report from Washington.
First class, baby.
2 converted 747 U.S. government planes evacuating more than 300 Americans from Japan. Cary Maniscalco from Utah documenting her journey.
We're all in really closed, tight quarters. Everybody's sitting next to each other. It seems dangerous and not safe.
But the U.S. government says they are safe, even though 14 passengers who tested positive for novel coronavirus were also allowed on the flight. After arriving in Texas and California, those 14 were taken to Nebraska. 1 was transported to the hospital. 13 are quarantined at the University of Nebraska Medical Center.
They're all going to be kept in their room because we're isolating them until we know the testing results.
The Americans all coming from the Diamond Princess, a cruise ship that had been under quarantine in Japan for almost 2 weeks. And now even the ones who did not test positive will have to do it all over again.
They just told us that we'd be re-quarantined for 14 more days.
Last week, the CDC said there were 15 confirmed cases in the U.S. That does not include the 14 passengers from Japan, as the CDC says those presumptive positive cases are being retested.
I've just lost a whole month of my life.
Globally, there have been more than 71,000 confirmed cases, and more than 1,700 have died. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Humans are wasting a lot more food than previously estimated, according to a recent study out of the Netherlands. Twice as much, or about 1/3 of all food, in fact. Researchers looked at the relationship between food waste and wealth and found a direct link between the two. They found wealthier countries wasted more food, and people in poorer nations began wasting more food as they earn more money. The study was published last Wednesday in the open access journal PLOS ONE. And a new study suggests teachers take a new approach to punishing students. That story's still ahead.
And weather-wise, we were warm today, but a major cool down is in store to end the week. I'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast, but first a look at stocks of local interest.
on expedition.
I've come to Bhutan. You just have no idea what's going to be around the next corner. To kayak a river that's never been paddled before.
It's a deep gorge. We don't know what's in there.
There's no doubt that this one is the one that scares me the most. Oh, I'm in big trouble. We've paddled into paradise. No one else will ever get to do that for the first time. There are still wild, exciting places out there left to explore.
We believe in dinosaurs. We believe dinosaurs and man lived at the same time. This is a fossil created during Noah's flood.
The whole point of this is to teach people that these biblical events were real history that actually happened.
A life-size Noah's Ark in Kentucky.
We want 7 billion people to come here.
Creationists have been pretty vocal. They're going to build new museums, and they're really going to try hard to leverage everything they can.
We believe in dinosaurs.
Cats.
Cats lead fantastic double lives. They disappear for hours, and we don't know where they go.
How did they go from wild animal to furry friend?
We can use the mitochondrial clock to figure out their age in evolutionary time.
And can neuroscience explain why they're so irresistible?
These sounds are plugging straight into our emotions.
Cattails on Nova.
From PBS, explore our culture through stories of food,
delicious,
family, and tradition. With a new season of No Passport Required.
Food's a path to culture, identity, and history.
And the premieres of Somewhere South.
I can smell that you've been cooking. This is delicious.
And Good Gumbo.
It's a secret recipe. I'm not going to pull it out of you. I know your mom would probably kill me, huh?
Discover what connects us all and so much more on PBS and the PBS Video app.
Welcome back. I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. We didn't see much clouds today, but as we moved throughout the afternoon, the clouds have moved in. There's an area of low pressure developing over the eastern plains area, and that's what's going to drive those clouds and some rain showers that we'll see later on tonight. That low pressure is all due to this very weak jet streak over here in the eastern and northern plains right here, and that's driving that low pressure at the surface that we see right now, right up here in western Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. That will push on through tonight. This warm front will lift north, and it'll actually warm up as we go throughout the night. We'll hit our lows actually by around 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. So the system that will move in will bring in warmer air tonight and tomorrow, but it will also cause gusty winds and chances of rain as we go throughout the night. Here's our temperatures. See that warming trend on this red line right here? Temperatures will go up and those winds down here will increase as well as we go throughout the night. And here's a depiction of that. Around 5 a.m. tomorrow is where we could see those gusty winds, mainly out of the south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour as we go throughout the night and the day tomorrow. 43 will be the low tonight. Rain will come in after midnight. It will be breezy, as I said earlier. Winds will be out of the south-southeast at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures generally in the lower and middle 40s. 40 in Columbus, 41 in Chillicothe, 45 in Jackson. Warm spot 46 down in Ironton. Rain moves in throughout the area from west to east as we go throughout the night. That'll mainly come after midnight and throughout the day tomorrow. As we go throughout the day tomorrow, cold front will push on through. That'll be around 4 p.m. tomorrow, so it will be quite warm before 4, but after that, we drop you into the 30s. 54 will be the high tomorrow. That'll be around 2 or 3 p.m. here in Athens. Earlier on for the north and west, you are rain throughout the day, mainly in the middle part of the day between about 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. is where that rain is most likely. Cold front comes through at 4. Winds will be out of the west at 10 to 15 miles an hour. Across the area, rain just about wherever you go with temperatures in the lower and middle 50s. Cold front pushes off and we calm you down briefly as an area of high pressure moves in, but after that, we are in for an active pattern, up and down temps and a lot of precip, and that is due to these clashing air masses right here. And right in this zone, which Ohio is in that battleground where those storms tend to like to flare up a lot. 7-day temperature averages, we're 9 degrees above average tomorrow before cooling you back down. On Thursday, we have another Arctic air mass coming in Thursday and Friday. We're 12 degrees below average and 9 degrees below average those days respectively. And you can see that on the 10-day air masses. There's our cool down on Thursday before a brief warm up on Sunday, and then we cool you back down for next Thursday. Extended forecast, we're in the 30s on 40 before warming you back up into the 50s by Saturday and Sunday. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Nicholas. Teachers who punish students in class may not get the good behavior they're seeking. A new study suggests this. Mandy Gaither with more in today's Health Minute.
Praise instead of punishment in the classroom. A new study suggests that is what will make elementary students stay more focused on their schoolwork and lessons. Researchers spent 3 years counting teacher praise and reprimands in more than 150 classrooms in 19 U.S. elementary schools. In half of those classrooms, teachers were told to teach as they typically did. In the other half, teachers were required to follow a behavioral intervention program in which teachers first teach children social skills through repetition, discussion, and role play. The teachers then formed student teams, praising the students with a verbal indication of approval when they followed those good social behaviors. The lead author of the research published in the journal Educational Psychology says, as elementary teachers' praise over punishment ratio increases, so does on-task behavior. He says the more a teacher praised and the less they scolded, the better focused students were on their lessons. Those who provided the most praise saw up to 30% more positive student behavior. For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And now I'm joined by Sports Director Thomas Garverick. And high school basketball playoffs, they're in full swing now, aren't they?
It is, and it's the time of the year where a team either moves on or their season ends. And for the Alexander Lady Spartans, they are marching on in the playoffs. I'll have the highlights of that game, plus 4 Ohio Bobcat athletics teams were in action over the weekend. I'll have all that plus more coming up in sports.
Thanks, Thomas. But first, let's have a look at what's coming up on your public television station.
This month in Passport, your on-demand library of the best of PBS.
How do you split up nicely from a girlfriend?
We should talk about life.
All of our ceremonies illustrate connectedness with all of creation.
These and other shows are available with Passport. Go to pbs.org/getpassport and find out how you can start streaming today.
I'm Jeff Bezos.
What is your claim to fame?
I'm the founder of Amazon.com.
Is Amazon taking over the world a good thing?
What Jeff Bezos is after is a company that is the infrastructure, that owns the infrastructure, and that's an incredibly powerful place to be.
People are asking if Amazon is a monopoly.
How did you and Jeff think about the call to break you guys up?
Simply because the company's been successful doesn't mean it's somehow too big.
We believe in dinosaurs. We believe dinosaurs and man lived at the same time. This is a fossil created during Noah's flood.
The whole point of this is to teach people that these biblical events were real history that actually happened.
A life-size Noah's Ark in Kentucky.
We want 7 billion people to come here.
Creationists have been pretty vocal. They're going to build new museums, and they're really going to try hard to leverage everything they can.
We believe in dinosaurs.
I grew up with this. I know this salt's flavor. I didn't know that the Portuguese, Brazil, and Cape Verde had such a big imprint in Boston. And the food really preserves the stories between these three communities. But this is such a fun way of eating. You have sausage, chicken, pineapple. Always have one extra seat because there might be hungry, sweet Ethiopian coming by.
No passport required.
Hi, I'm Sports Director Thomas Garvick. The Alexander Lady Spartans just continue their tournament-winning excellence. Alexander taking on Coal Grove in the sectional finals. High school playoff hoops, the Alexander Lady Spartans continuing their tournament-winning excellence. Alexander taking on the Coal Grove Lady Bears in the sectional final. Lady Spartans did not waste any time from the jump. Marley Gernstead to Jade Mace from downtown. Then later, it's Gernstead again dishing out the rock. This time dumps it off to Kara Meeks for the easy two. Lady Spartans making it look easy. Gernstead gets in on the scoring action herself, takes it all the way. Nice little spin move and a kiss off the glass. Spartans are sectional champs again, 58-45.
Always a great feeling, man. That's a feeling you never get sick of. And winning the sectional tournament for our kids was huge. And I think a lot of people, with us losing 8 games this year, being a 9 seed, I don't know that a lot of people have a lot of faith in us. But those kids in there in that locker room have a lot of faith in each other.
Round 1 of the Battle of the Bricks for the Ohio women's basketball team over the weekend. Ohio knocked off Miami 84-70 on Saturday. The Bobcats led by as many as 30 in this one. Erica Johnson flirted with a triple-double in the win. Her and the Bobcats have now won the last 3 meetings with the Red Hawks.
They were up in the series, so it's kind of good to get payback in 3 in a row. So let them know that we're kind of got the upper hand now. I mean, the series still isn't even, but to win the last 3, that says a lot.
The men's team also on the road at Kent State. The Golden Flashes hit 17 threes in their 87-72 win over the Bobcats. The avalanche of threes too much for Ohio to overcome. Jason Preston was just 2 rebounds shy from his second triple-double of the season. The loss snaps a 2-game winning streak for Ohio.
2.5 minutes it went to 14. And that was basically the ball game. And I was telling someone the other day, if the game was 35 minutes, we'd probably be undefeated. But it's not, and you're not going to do that against good teams.
It's our favorite time of the year in the sports department when seasonal sports overlap each other. Let's go. The Ohio baseball team began their season down south in Alabama. The Bobcats took 3 of 4 against Northern Alabama. Senior Trevor Hafner had a solid opening weekend. He led Ohio with 5 hits and 4 RBIs. The Ohio softball team also traveled south to Tennessee to play 5 games in the Chattanooga Challenge. Rough start to the year for Ohio. The Bobcats lost their first 7 games of the year, but Ohio comes up with a couple of wins, highlighted by a 15-inning thriller with Lipscomb. Katie Young's home run, the difference in that one. And former Ohio Bobcat defensive back DJ Cary was released by the Cleveland Browns today. Cary started 14 games over the past couple of years with Cleveland. Cary was drafted back in 2014 by the Oakland Raiders. Terrell Basham and Quentin Pulling are the only 2 former Bobcats that are signed by an NFL team as of today. And lots of candidates for my weekend game ball, but there's always one that stands above the rest, and that being Erica Johnson. She just continues her superb play. Johnson has now scored 20-plus points in her last 4 games, and now 7 of her last 8 contests, she's scored 20 points or more. And she is quietly making a name for herself and putting herself in the MAC Player of the Year conversation. And last year, she was the MAC Freshman Player of the Year. And she really has Ohio gearing up for a big-time run in March. And an awesome story with Erica. So she missed her entire freshman year with a foot injury. She redshirted, won Freshman Player of the Year last year. And now here she is, dominating once again. Awesome story.
Yeah, that sure is a great story, Thomas. Thank you. And you may have heard the joke, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. In this case, Green Bay, Wisconsin residents went to a hockey game and a wiener dog race broke out. 32 dachshunds hit the ice for the annual wiener dog race at the Resch Center. There's a good cause behind all fun. Fans were asked to bring pet food and supplies to the game to benefit the Happily Ever After Animal Sanctuary. A wiener dog named Willow received the prestigious Westminster Oaks Trophy this year. The prize for the top dog included a triumphant ride on the Zamboni.
54 will be the high tomorrow. Rain moves in as a result of a cold front and an area of low pressure moving in. It will be gusty too. Those packed isobars on those map mean strong pressure gradient, which also means strong winds, 10 to 15 miles an hour, mainly out of the west. Cold front comes in at 4 in the afternoon. Across the area, temperatures will generally be in the lower and middle 50s before cooling you back into the 30s by the afternoon. Here's your extended forecast. We're at 45 on Monday with a 70% chance of rain. Back to the desk.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Anna Azalian. Stay tuned for PBS NewsHour coming up next. And
calling all high school basketball fans, we're back for season 11 of Hardwood Heroes. I'm your host, Sam Wiesnath, here with my co-host, T. Willis.
We've got all the TVC action on WOUB Sunday nights at 11 and Monday nights at 6.
As always, we're your hosts reminding you